Hey everyone, this is Randy from BibleBindGuide.com. Today I'm taking a look at another rebind from AE Bibles. And this is a Thomas Nelson KJV Sovereign in Golden Yellow Badalassi Calfskin with a dark brown Lambskin Liner. So here's what it looks like. I've got a few Bibles I'm going to compare to. First, I want to read the spec sheet. So we have Golden Yellow Badalassi Carlo Calfskin. We have a generous yap, so it doesn't touch on all sides. It's just a little bit of an overhang, and I like that amount of overhang a lot. Perimeter stitching. Perimeter and spine tooling. That's a little line right there. And then we have that tooling on the spine hubs. We have raised spine hubs. We have the dark brown Lambskin Liner with paper end sheets. That's a dark brown paper end sheet. It's really thick. Golden interior gilt line. Geranium red art gilt. So when we open this, you'll see red. We have white head tail bands. So there's the head tail bands. They're white. 3 premium ribbons, 10 millimeter. Ribbons are gold, dark brown, and cafe au lait. Really long, longer than they need to be, but I would rather have them longer than they need to be than not long enough. I am fine with that. So let's take a look at the leather. And this is a review of just the leather. I've already reviewed the Sovereign from Thomas Nelson. So I'll put a link to that review if you want to see it. But this is a look at the leather, at the rebind. It's a bold yellow, kind of a mustard, but then a bold mustard. I like this color a lot more than I expected to be honest. The grain, it has some smooth areas, but then it has some rough areas, so there's a lot of variation in the texture. I like the way that looks and feels. It feels elegant. The leather itself is thick, really thick, and it's stiff, but it's not overly stiff. It doesn't feel like it doesn't feel like it's fighting me to bend it, but at the same time, it's not floppy either. On the front, we have Holy Bible. Now, this is stamped in gold, and then we have Holy Bible, KJV Sovereign, and the Nelson stamped in gold. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 raised spine hubs. I like that amount of yap. That it looks good. I'm going to bend the edges when I hold a Bible anyway, so it might as well have a little bit of a yap, and that doesn't make the Bible feel too large. It holds open well. When I hold it open, I can hold it in one hand, no trouble at all. And one thing I really like about this is that it stays open in the first few pages of Genesis without it trying to close on me. The first few pages will, because of that tab and because of how thick that paper is. Now that he did have to glue this into the presentation page, but that's because the presentation page on the Sovereign is the first page. So if we get over here somewhere like in the middle of Genesis, it'll stay open, no problem. No trouble at all. It doesn't try to fight me. Now over here in the very front, it will fight a little bit. It'll try to close, but once you get that that tab broken in a little bit, it'll be fine. So the dark brown paper liner has a texture to it. And then here's our Lambskin Liner. It says dark brown, but to me it looks black. Then in the front we have Badalassi Carlo, and in the back we have Lambskin Liner. It has the gilt line all the way around the perimeter, and you can tell that's applied by hand. So it's not a perfectly laser etched line, and that's fine. I'm okay with that. So this is very much made by hand. Here's what our corner work looks like. We'll compare that to another one here in just a little bit. There's the corner work there. and there, and the On the back, we have the AE logo. Nice looking logo. So this Bible will stay open easy. The art gilt is applied by hand. So you're going to have a few pages here and there where you might have some spillover onto the page. That's normal for art gilt that's applied by hand. That's the worst of it right there. And I'm okay with that because that's natural. It's normal. I have seen premium Bibles from bigger names that look a lot worse than this. So yeah, that's fine. The colors work well. I like those ribbons with the color of that cover. It looks nice. Here's how the ribbons are placed in. Now I usually hold my ribbons, I usually pull them to the corner. And that's one reason that the way they place them in, they're angled sometimes. It's so that they can come to the corner so that you can pull it open. They're not really made to go down the edge so much as around the corner. That's why you see mine in the middle or close to the edge. But yeah, you can open that easy. If they're down here, you have too much weight. You got to pull it to the edge anyway. So yeah, that's fine. So there's how it opens. No trouble at all. No problem. It won't try to close on you except for possibly the very front and very back. Here's in the end of it. Last few pages, you're good. Now, like all edge line that I've seen, it does keep the spine flat so that when the Bible is open, it does, rather than the spine coming up to flatten the page, it does have that bend. But the way the Sovereign is designed, it has enough inner margin space so that it doesn't bend into the gutter. So it is good. That is an elegant leather. I like that leather. I like the tooling. I like the perimeter stitching. I love the color. I thought I'd like this color, but I like it a lot more than I expected to. I like this color. I would choose this color. Now, I didn't choose any of this. This was chosen by Adrian at AE Bibles. He wanted to send it to me for a review. And I like it. I would choose this. I would absolutely choose this. So here's how it compares to the one that I did choose, which is the first rebind that he did for me. This was a Clarion, and I wanted a full yap because I wanted it to get rid of a little bit of that chunky feel. And it does. It works fine. And this also opens wide, but at the same time it keeps the flat here. The Clarion would be better if it could come up a little bit in the spine, but this is easy enough to hold and read. It's not a problem. I like the size of this one. The leather is the same. Both are Badalassi Carlo. This one is the dark brown, and then this one is the golden yellow. And then I got the silk in sheet rather than the brown paper. Everything else is the same except for the colors of the ribbons, and except for I got the leather head tail bands. And I didn't have art gilt on this one. But here's how it compares to the actual Sovereign in genuine leather. The Sovereign in genuine leather is a little bit smaller because this genuine leather is thinner, and you're going to have that yap overhang. So here's how they compare. A little bit smaller. So it does add a little bit to the weight, but not much. So here's how the liners compare. The Thomas Nelson genuine leather has a vinyl, heavy-duty vinyl edge-lined liner. Now this is stiffer. The leather is thinner, and it is more difficult to keep it open. I'll show you what I mean. While this one wants to fight you, and it takes a while to get it to stay there. This one doesn't have as much hump. This one you see a larger hump because of how stiff that edge line tab is. It's one of my complaints about edge line tabs. I don't like that hump that it creates. I want a flat page. This one has more of the flat page. And then when it does get to the point where it will lay down, it'll be flatter than this one will. This one will have that hump. And this is something that I find a little bit annoying. And that's one reason I'm actually drawn a lot to paste down liners, as long as they're reinforced. I don't like that hump. But now this one, I'm okay with it because it's not that bad. Just needs to break in a little bit so that this page doesn't try to come up. But it's not bad. Not bad at all. So there's how they compare. And then the last one. This is a black Marieva calfskin. This one is an R.L. Allen long primer 52. Has a generous yap, not a full yap. Here's how the leather compares. Similar grain in some areas, but the grain in the Marieva calfskin is more consistent. Still smooth, but has a little bit of a texture to it. It's more consistent compared to this one's smooth areas and rough areas. That gives it a lot more texture. Both are good. Just depends on what you like. Both have the tooling around the edge. This one does not have raised spine hubs, but it does have indications for the hubs. So there's how the spines compare. And you've probably noticed something already. These Bibles are about the same size. Just about the same, which I find a little bit interesting. The text block of the Sovereign is not as wide, but we're talking just a little bit difference. The R.L. Allen is a thinner leather, but it's a thick leather. It's not a thin leather at all. It's a thick leather, but thinner than the AE Bibles leather. It's more flexible. And then we have our Calfskin Liner. There's how the liners look. Then we have our gilt line. There's how they compare. And then blue vinyl end sheet versus the brown paper end sheet. So there's how the corners compare. Main difference between the two, the AE leather is perimeter stitched while the R.L. Allen is not. The R.L. Allen has a larger overlap. The leather overlaps all the way up to the gilt line, and the AE leather does not. This one is a lot more flexible. So you can bend and fold that a little bit more if you wanted to. I lean more toward a little bit stiffer because I don't like to bend mine. I like mine to stay open flat. That's just me. And then here's how the ribbons compare. Same size, I think. And then the head tail bends, there's how they compare. And they look very much the same. And back liner. So the R.L. Allen Long Primer 52 in black Marieva calfskin. Excellent Bible. But that's a quick look at the Sovereign, KJV, Thomas Nelson, Rebound by AE Bibles in Golden Badalassi leather with dark brown lambskin. Now, I don't know the price on this. I haven't looked. I kind of almost don't want to because I'm afraid it might be difficult to carry if I do. But I do plan to carry this one. I like this one a lot. It's an elegant Bible. It feels elegant. It looks elegant. If you're looking for a rebind and you're okay with it being expensive, you do get what you pay for with AE Bibles. I do highly recommend them. He did supply this in exchange for an honest review, and my honest review is that's an elegant Bible. I'll place some links in the description where you can go to aebibles.com. Also, a link to the written review at BibleBuyingGuide.com where you can see more photos and a little bit more information about this. Thanks for watching.